All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushai, Ba'ashem,
Yahushai,
Rakakadash.
Yahushai,
Ba'ashem,
Hashem,
Ruach HaKodesh.
Rakatabar.
We have to say double honors and respect to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, who rule well and taught us His truth. We would also like to say much love, peace, and salutations to the Lord's elect, the whole elect and 1/3. This is Brother Salah.
Brother Sarah.
Brother, yo, what's up?
All right, and today's lesson, we're gonna land back on the video, that Elder Monaghan did, and speaking about Joel 3 and 10, right, and how Esau, man, how one way how he's gonna implement that MOTB, right, is he's gonna use after that, the end of or I wouldn't say the end, but like towards the end of Jacob's trouble, right. Right, when when people need jobs or whatever, right, he's gonna say, all right, if you want to work at these factories, right, because Esau will use these factories, hence why Joel 3 and 10, beat your plowshares and your swords and your pruning hooks and spears, right. Right, for you to work in these factories, for them to like manufacture the weapons and shit, right. He's gonna require you to take that RFID microchip, right. And me speaking as a man, right. What we, at least what Slovakia, like what I, what I believe or what I think, right, is like the reason why because the scriptures basically state, right, like once that microchip pertaining to the book of Job, which we'll bring out later. Basically, once the microchip gets implemented, right, that's when the Lord's going to cast His wrath, right. But what's going to be the reason, aside from the microchip getting implemented, what's the reason why these other nations want to destroy America? Well, thinking about it, right, like if World War III continues, or if it drags on, right, and by America open up their factories again, that's gonna drag on the war. So instead of these other nations, right, wasting all their resources and their manpower and their time, right, they're gonna be like, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on them to say, you know what, fuck it, man, they're just gonna press the button, including NATO and the EU, to fire all these missiles and just blow up America, and just pretty much be done with it, man. Right. Right, so we're gonna open up with the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 23, and it says here, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall cast the fear of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating, man. So when Esau thinks, oh, I'm about to to go into my enterprise, or I'm about to use my factories, man, create more weapons, and hopefully win this war, man, that's when the Lord say, oh, no, he's gonna put the spirit on these other nations, right. They're gonna get tired of all of America's bullshit. They're gonna get tired of the war being dragged out, and of course they're gonna get tired of them wasting their resources and using up their manpower. So they're just gonna say, you know what, fuck it, and expand their nukes and blow America up to hell, man. So, all right, so we're gonna play a part of the Elder Apostle Tahara, and by extension the Elder Monaghan's video from the DC camp, and they're gonna talk about Joel 3 and 10.
Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Shalom to the 144,000, the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, me just adding to Joel 3 verse 10 is officially in play. So I just started watching this. This is 10 minutes in. I started when it was about 6-7 minutes in. So I rolled it back to the very beginning. This is a premiere. This is put up by GMS Spiritual Army 144. And this is the elder, the head of GMS DZ Monaghan. So let me just go ahead and let it play. As soon as I saw it, listen, I thought of one thing. I went to the Google.
To Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Rakakadash, peace and blessings be upon the elect, 144,000 and 1/3 remnant. And double honors to our elders and apostles that came back in the reincarnation of all the elders and bishops.
Oh, you came back in a reincarnation too. You were one of the prophets back then. If you endure to the end, I don't see you going nowhere. So you were part of that too, not just us. But he knows that.
in these times known as Great Millstone. Brother Monagon here is coming back with some breaking news. This actual news came out either a day or two ago, but Joel 3 and 10 is like officially in play. Especially on the U.S. side. And all these other countries are going to follow suit soon as they get drawn into World War III. This is the breaking news here, and what I did was I already know how and why it's in play, and we have the understanding of Joel 3 and 10. But I just hopped on chat, to bring out some more information on it, some more insight, and also I get the scripture, the spirit right here. But this is the breaking news at the top. It says Pentagon approaches GM, Ford, and other large auto manufacturers to discuss shifting from auto development to weapons to military supply production. I put, if true, explain.
I'm sorry. Senior defense officials, I'm reading again, have held discussions. Senior defense officials, which is the U.S. government, the military, the executive branch, which is the military, with leaders from General Motors, Ford, GE, Aerospace, Oshkosh, about adapting automotive assembly lines for military use. That happened in World War II, it happened in World War I, where they take corporations and they make a war machine through these corporations. So if they're making cars, now they got to make weapons.
How, in a sense, this fits Joel 3. I'm just going to read through all of this and just kind of speak freely through the Spirit.
And so what he's talking about for the U.S., these are American companies to change their, what's the word I'm looking for? The way they make things. They're making weapons. It's going into weapons. That means something getting ready to happen, which we do know. But when you go to Joel 3 verse 10, it's talking about these weak nations. Not so much Babylon or America, because they have enough weapons to do major damage. ICBMs. This is something that Iran doesn't possess. But I'm going to read something in the, I Googled it.
So this is confirmed in very current news. Here's the breakdown. What's happening? Senior defense officials have held discussions with leaders from General Motors, Ford, GE Aerospace, and Oshkosh about adapting automotive assembly lines for military use. The conversations began before the United States entered the Iran conflict in February 2026, but urgency has increased as existing stockpiles face heavy strain. Defense officials have framed their requests to automakers as a matter of national security, with Pentagon looking to boost production of military equipment as conflicts in both Ukraine and Iran have drained stocks. So that's what we're telling you also when it's concerning, just a segue here real quick, to the Mark of the Beast, the MOTB. When they implement it and make it mandated, all right, and it becomes mandatory, that's what they're going to push, national security. All right, this is for your security. It's for your health, So that's how they're presenting it to these corporations. Now, it says how this connects to Joel 3 and 10. Joel 3 and 10 reads, "Be your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." And we all know that, and actually recently, Iran launched a Chinese satellite and has been using the services of China and Russia to help with their coordinated strike against Israel and...
Hey, Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 38.
Let's get that real quick. Ezekiel 38. Yeah, Gog and Magog, man, right there, and that's talking about the landmass Russia, man. They yeah. Russia and China, man, they're gonna be drawing this third world war.
There should be a guard. So Russia and China are allies to each other, and they're allied to Iran.
The U.S., Babylon the Great, all right, according to the scriptures. So the weak is being made strong by its counterparts, all right? Its allies. Iran was considered a weak nation at one point. It says, this verse is a deliberate reversal of the famous peace prophecy in Isaiah 2 and 4, Micah 4 and 3, where the nations beat swords into plowshares. In Joel's context, the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is calling the nations to prepare for war and judgment, converting the tools of peaceful civilian life into instruments of warfare. The parallel to today's news is striking in several ways. Plowshares to swords. The auto industry is the modern equivalent of agricultural civilian production. Assembly lines built for F-150s and Silverados, tools of everyday civilian life, are being considered for conversion into production lines for missiles, drones, and tactical weapons. Scale of mobilization.
So if Iran eventually gets ICBMs, long-range missiles, definitely coming from either Russia or China or both. And then understand this: when you go to Revelation 17, starting from the 12th verse, read down into about the 15, 16, 17 verse, even unto the end. I think the last verse is the 18th verse. It says how the 10 horns shall hate the whore, which stand for EU and NATO. NATO nations are 32 currently. EU nations are 28. And they're interchangeable. Yet Turkey, for example, is a NATO nation, but not an EU nation. The UK is a NATO nation, but not an EU nation. France is NATO and EU. Now, the only two European Union or NATO nations that possess missiles, NATO nations, and I was surprised, and this was I found this out maybe 4 years ago, maybe. The only nations that possess long-range ICBMs, intercontinental missiles, one is Germany. I'm sorry, the UK and France. I would think that Germany possessed these missiles. They don't. Now, what can happen in the next 6 months? What can be happening right now?
Unlike traditional defense contracts built for precision and smaller batch output, companies like Ford and GM operate high-volume manufacturing systems that could be redirected toward missiles, drones, and tactical vehicles. And then you got a source. This is precisely the beating of one form of production into another. Historical echo. Both Ford and General Motors are well known for their contributions to the American war effort during World War II, building aircraft, transportation vehicles, engines, and various other necessary parts used in military equipment. There's another source, Newsy, that at World War.
All right, Slucky. I'm just gonna pause right there. So so we can bring out our point. You could your brothers and your few sisters could watch the rest of the video, but basically, right, what we're gonna get into, right, as the elder Monaghan said, right, because of national security, right, that's when they're gonna force people to take that mark of the beast RFID microchip, right, that MOTV. Right, and once they do that, then they're gonna get all these people that are chipped up. They go on these assembly lines or factory lines, to start producing their weapons, right? But while at the same time, right, Russia and China, they're gonna mobilize. They're gonna send their missiles, to all their allies, right? Iran and potentially, other smaller countries, across the globe, they can receive them ICM thermonuclear missiles, right? And for them to not let this war drag on, right, to not let America have the leg up or have the upper hand, right? They're just gonna simply say, you know what. Fuck this. We don't want the war to drag on. We don't want their assembly lines, to go full blown, or we don't want them, to keep We don't want their factories or assembly lines, to keep making these drones, these missiles, these factories, which is gonna drag out the war, make everything basically make everything more difficult for them, by wasing all their manpower and resources. So the Lord's just gonna put the spirit on them to say, you know what, fuck this. They're and them just sending the nukes, right? Fulfilling the prophecy of Job 20 verse 23, when he's about to fill his belly, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain upon him while he's eating, while he's in the midst of chipping everyone, while he's in the midst of mass producing his weapons like he did in World War I, World War II, right? Because what the Lord says, he requires things that have come to pass, man. And Sarah, what back to what you were saying too, and it was a spirit that when you said this, the elder apostle Tahar brought this out, right? Jumping back to Revelation chapter 17, we're gonna pick up at verse 17. For Yahweh hath remembered, for Yahweh put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and to give the kingdom unto the beast, and unto the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled, right?
Man, because we know that and could I bring out a precept?
Go
And
ahead.
he said, make a love. So this is the Lord Yahweh. Said this to Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I am even. No, let me read that again. It says, see now that I am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And what it said, the Lord is a man of war, right?
Yeah.
The Most High is moving on it, sir.
That's right. He judges that make war.
Just like he gonna cause them. If remember, like Armageddon, how they gonna try to turn at Yahweh Shai.
Haman God, one of the mountain of truth, right? They're gonna be scared, man, but they're gonna be thirst to fight. The Lord's gonna put in their spirits to fight, even though they're scared, right? And that's when the Lord Yahweh Shai and the elect are gonna ultimately destroy all of them, and put their leaders in fucking chains, man. And we can't wait. Hey, the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 5 says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, yet how Bashim shall have remembered her iniquities," man. So the Lord's definitely gonna put the spirit on these nations, man. Once everything gets fallen into place, once everything gets mobilized, that's when the missiles, man. That's when they're gonna start flying, because at that point they're just we're tired of Babylon the Great, man. That's the Lord pouring His Spirit on these other nations, and just to say, just to say, end America, right? The only people that are gonna complain are these merchants, because these merchants, like, although they're not gonna miss America, they're just gonna miss making money off of America, off the suckers, man.
Can we bring out Daniel 7:25 real quick?
Go ahead, yes.
Because the saint, it said, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given unto him his hand until a time and times and dividing of times. But his time coming up. He saw time coming up, man.
His time is very near, man. Within these months, man. If we even make it to December, man, Lord willing, it could be a lot shorter than that, because what the scripture says, man, when the hour that you think not, that's when the Lord comes, man. So it could be a lot sooner than that. Because at this point, anything can pop off right now, man. Like everything that you see now, you think that we're in good case, but stuff's clearly rising, and it's rising fast, man. You go to a grocery store, and what do people talk about? All they talk about is them spending. Oh, I spent this much money, or I spent this amount of money. They're conscious about what they're spending now, because shit's getting really bad, man. And that's how I know we pretty much we getting close to the end of this man's kingdom, right?
Can we bring out Matthew 24 and 32 right quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I brought this out before. It said, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and put it forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till these things, but these things be fulfilled. So yeah, man, all these things, all these prophecies, what it said, though it tarry, wait for it, man. Though it tarry, it will come forth, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. Before the microchip, man, that RFID gets implemented, man. These other prophecies gonna happen, right? Persecution with the
Mm.
prophets, man. Famine of the word, right? The internet getting shutting down. Supply chains being broken, right. The precipice of Jacob's trouble, where people are just crashing out, killing, invading, raping each other for like resources and shit, man. Man, it's gonna be utterly terrifying, man. That's why, man. That's why we gotta stay in the spirit now more than ever, because that hour of temptation is drawing very very close, man.
Fine.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 7. But Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded, right? And ultimately that arrow is gonna be them ICBM thermonuclear missiles, man. When the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai strikes this place down, right.
So peace out.
Right. So
Mhm.
so 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 we pretty much there, man. Once everything is implemented, right. So once everything falls into place, once Esau puts the spirit to implement that RFID, microchip, and start expediting his process and mass producing his weapons, then that's when the Lord's gonna put the spirit on these other nations to say, fuck it, we don't want this war to drag on with America. They're gonna say fuck you to America, just like how we're saying it, man, and then they're just gonna shoot their missiles, and that's pretty much it, man. So
And then they're not gonna put that spirit on these so-called civilians. Well, he said they shall not regard their kings.
yeah, yeah, that's right. The book of Second Ezra 15.
Con. I'm gonna bring it out. It says, "For there shall be sedition amongst men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings or princes, because at the end of the day, don't no matter what party, I don't really care about Democrats, Republicans, but at the end of the day, people they care about equality, right? They want to be treated right. And if you're not being treated right in your own country is giving billions and billions of dollars to people across the world, and the people in the country is suffering, man. These people, you angering this people, man, they gonna end up doing riots, marching, and that's what they're doing now. Am I wrong? Look, you can look it up. These people, they're looting, they're robbing. So we definitely in that time of mourning, man. These people, they rising up because they getting fed up, you know. And it's more than just blacks, Since the Segregation Act, they've been coming for us. But now all nations is mourning, man. They starting to see who this devil is, you know.
And we're gonna close off right here, man. Babylon has been in that golden cup.
Oh,
Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's hand, that hath made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. And you best believe the nations, at that point when the MOTB gets implemented, they're going to be just fed up with Babylon the Great from all the bullshit they're pulling, crashing the economy and forcing the people to take a new one just so they can arm themselves up. They're going to say, you know what, fuck you, America. We're not going to allow that shit to happen again. They're just going to fucking blow America up, man. So
uh,
with that, man, we're just gonna end off right there. And let's say anything else you want to add, Doc.
um, let me see. Let me see. Um, oh yeah, endure hardship as a good soldier. How shall Mashiach? Yeah, that precept of the paraphrasing. This got to endure because we coming in time. We going through some hard times. That testing is right at the door, man. Like the brothers used to say, man. You know, yeah, with FEMA camps and that testing is coming. That's all I'm gonna say.
It, it,
That
it,
testing of your faith, man.
that's right. Second Timothy chapter 2, verses 3 to 5, man. That now thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier for Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, man. That hour of temptation is coming, man. So we gonna do our best that we can, man. To stay within the spirit, man. Putting on the whole armor of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Man, and standing against the wiles of the devil, because that ultimate, wow, or his trickery, man, or his, his device is gonna be that RFID microchip, man. So
I got one more, Salaki. I got one more.
you good? Go ahead,
This
go ahead.
Oh yeah, Romans 13:11, and that knowing the time that now is high time to wake out of sleep. It's high time to wake out of sleep because we right here at the doors, man. It's right here. Let's say I'm gonna use an example. Let's say if you no, we right there at the doors, like we right there at the doors of the returning of the lamb, man. And that goes into the five wise and the five unwise, right? We represent the five wise, the ones that's taking this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So that had came on my spirit earlier, the five wise and five unwise. But yeah, man, it's high time we gotta sleep. We gotta stay locked in. Don't quench the spirit. You know, constantly keep enduring.
Get that oil in your lamp while you still can, man.
Oh, you still can.
Yeah, unless at least you be one of those people that go to the sellers and buy meaning everyone else on the streets that don't really have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? Right. So so with that, man, we're just gonna end off the lesson right there. Hope this lesson has been edifying, uplifting, and exhorting you Akim and Akwath. And with that, we like to say, call Halayim La Abadnawa Yahweh
Yahweh,
Ba Ba Shin
Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem,
Yahushai Ba
Rakakadash.
Shem Kadash. We like to say double honors and respect to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule out and taught us his truth. We'd also like to say much love, peace, and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in 1/3, his brother Salah.
So,
Brother Surah.
And with that, we just say shalom.
Shalom, shalom.